If you want real money, you must bring me 7 ladies' pants.
That's easy, Baba.
Not just any pants. Each must represent the 7 colors of the rainbow. Red, orange, yellow, green, blue, indigo, violet. And you must bring them within 7 days. Now drink this.
The Ambassadors University was not like other schools. Here, money seemed alive. Every morning, expensive cars rolled into the campus like a car exhibition. Mercedes, Range Rover, Lexus. Students stepped out of these cars like they were celebrities. Designer shirts, branded shoes, gold chains. They wore things that could cost more than some lecturers earned in a month. Some students were here for school, for studies, for exams. Others, they were here to show off, party, and enjoy life. And in the middle of all this flashy luxury was a group that everyone knew and whispered about across campus. The amapiano boys. There were 4 of them in the group. Each one wore shiny gold chains that glimmered in the sunlight. They were the type of boys who sprayed money in clubs just to show off. They drove cars so expensive that other students stopped to take pictures with them, pretending they owned them for a moment. But the strangest thing, they barely went to class. Lectures, assignments, exams didn't matter to them at all. One afternoon, their music was blasting so loud from their car speakers that people in the parking lot stopped to watch. One of the boys laughed loudly, leaning back in his seat, sunglasses on, hand flicking money into the air. "School is just a formality," he said, smiling. "I don't even need the certificate for anything," another added, as if it was the most obvious thing in the world. The afternoon sun was blazing over the Ambassadors University campus. Students were moving between lecture halls, some rushing to class, others standing under trees chatting and laughing. Suddenly, a loud amapiano beat blasted through the air. Doom, doom, doom. Heads began to turn. A shiny black Range Rover slowly rolled into the parking lot like a king entering his palace. The music was so loud that students near the Faculty of Social Sciences stopped walking. Inside the car were the famous amapiano boys. As the car stopped, the driver stepped out first. Dark sunglasses, gold chain, expensive sneakers. One of the boys came out of the passenger seat and stretched his arms. "Ah, campus life is sweet," he said. Another boy opened the back door and shouted dramatically, "Who is ready for enjoyment today?" A group of girls nearby screamed with excitement. One girl whispered to her friend, "Those are the amapiano boys." Another girl replied, "They spent 2 million naira in the club last weekend." Meanwhile, standing across the road was Tooku. He watched everything silently. The cars, the girls, the laughter. Inside his mind, a thought slowly formed. These people are not better than me. One day, I will live like this too. And that was the moment the dangerous desire began. Tooku was not poor, but he was not rich either. His parents could afford the basic things in life: food, rent, school fees. But luxury, that one was a different story. Every day, Tooku watched the amapiano boys from a distance. Their cars, their girls, their lifestyle. And slowly, all he wanted was to be like them. One evening, after watching them for weeks, Tooku finally found the courage to approach the amapiano boys. They were sitting casually beside a shiny black Range Rover, music playing softly from the car speakers, laughing and throwing small gestures at each other. Tooku's legs felt heavy as he walked toward them. His hands were sweaty and his heart was pounding in his chest. When he reached them, he cleared his throat. "Guys, I want to ask something," he said, trying to sound confident. The boy stopped talking for a moment and looked him up and down. One of them chuckled, shaking his head. "Guy, who be you?" Tooku swallowed hard. My name is Tooku, he said, his voice a little shaky. The boy raised an eyebrow. So, waiting you want? Tooku took a deep breath, his palms sweaty. I want to live like you guys, he admitted. For a moment, there was silence. But then, suddenly, the boys burst into loud laughter, slapping their knees, leaning back in their seats and shaking their heads. Ah, this guy, one of them said, still laughing. Tooku felt his face flush, but deep inside, he was even more determined. After laughing for almost 1 minute, one of them leaned closer. You really want to know our secret? Tooku nodded quickly. The boy lowered his voice. We did money ritual. Tooku's heart skipped. Money ritual? Yes. With ladies' pants? Tooku froze. But then the boy smiled. Best decision of our lives. Another added. We don't tell people this, but we just feel you will be a good boy. That is why we are telling you this. If you want to join the big boys, you must be ready. Tooku hesitated for a moment, but greed had already captured his heart. I'm ready, he said. That same evening, they took him to a native doctor in a quiet village outside the city. The man sat inside a dark hut filled with strange objects, bones, charms, clay pots. The herbalist stared at Tooku with red eyes. You want wealth? Tooku muttered nervously. The herbalist spoke slowly. You must bring 7 ladies' pants, he said, to represent the 7 colors of the rainbow. And you must bring them within 7 days. He pointed to the air in front of him as he said each color. Red, orange, yellow, green, blue, indigo. He paused dramatically. His eyes locked onto Tooku. And violet. Tooku blinked, trying to understand. You must bring them all within 7 days, the herbalist said, his voice low and firm. Tooku's mouth opened slightly. Then he nodded quickly, trying to sound brave. That is easy, he said, forcing a smile, even though inside he felt a strange chill down his spine. The native doctor gave Tooku something to drink from a black calabash and asked him to come back with the 7 pants within 7 days.
Tooku was not worried at all. He did not live inside the school hostel. He had rented a little apartment outside of the campus, and there were many female students in the compound. Every evening, clothes covered the clotheslines like colorful flags. When he got home that same day, he saw it, a beautiful red pant dancing in the wind. It belonged to Cynthia, who had washed her clothes before going for lectures. Tooku looked left, looked right, nobody. He smiled. 1/7. He grabbed it quickly and ran to his room immediately. The following day, Tooku was beginning to feel more confident. That evening, the compound was calm again. The sun was slowly setting, painting the sky with soft orange light. Tooku stepped outside, pretending to stretch, but his eyes were not looking at the sky. They were searching the clothesline. And then he saw it. A bright green pant hanging quietly beside a blue towel. Tooku's heart jumped. Green, another color, he whispered to himself. He slowly walked toward the line, pretending to check his phone. He glanced left, nobody. He glanced right, the corridor was empty. His hand moved toward the clothesline. He carefully removed the clothespin. The pant came loose. Quickly, he folded it and slipped it behind his back. Just then, a door suddenly opened behind him. Tooku froze. A young lady stepped out of the room holding a bucket. It was the owner of the pants. She looked at him. Tooku, His heart began pounding violently. Yes? The girl walked closer. I thought I heard someone here. Tochoku forced a smile. I was just helping you adjust your clothes. He pointed nervously at the line. The wind was almost blowing them down. The girl looked at the clothesline. Oh, thank you. Tochoku nodded quickly. No problem. The girl smiled and walked toward the bathroom area. The moment she disappeared around the corner, Tochoku ran straight to his room. He locked the door and pulled out the pant from behind his back. His chest was rising and falling rapidly. That was close, he whispered. Then he looked at the pant again. A slow smile appeared on his face. 2 down, 5 more to go. Stealing the other pants was even easier. Yellow, blue, orange, indigo. Within 4 days, Tochoku had gathered 6 pants. He was extremely happy. Only one remained. Violet color pant.
Meanwhile, trouble began to grow in the compound. One evening, several girls gathered near the clothesline. One girl shouted loudly, "Who stole my red pant?" Another girl walked closer. "Your own too?" "Yes, sir. I washed it yesterday." Another girl joined the conversation angrily. "My green one disappeared this morning." A tall girl gasped dramatically. There is a pant thief in this compound." One girl placed her hands on her waist. "This is serious, so what do we do now?" One girl said, "From today, I will start spreading my pants inside my room." Another girl said, Just then, Tochoku quietly walked past them with a bucket in his hand. Sweat slowly rolled down his forehead. One of the girls looked at him. "Tochoku, have you heard about what has been happening?" He forced a small smile. "Yes, pant thief." The girls continued their discussion angrily, but as Tochoku walked away, his heart was beating fast because inside his pocket was another stolen pant. One afternoon, Tochoku met the amapiano boys behind their lodge. They were sitting outside, drinking chilled juice and playing music from a big speaker. One of them was scrolling through his phone while another was spraying expensive perfume. Tochoku looked nervous. "Guys, I want to ask something." One of them looked up. "Hope you have gotten the pants." Tochoku nodded slowly. "Yes, I have 6 now." The boys cheered loudly. "Guy, you are almost there." But Tochoku still looked worried. "Are you sure this ritual thing is safe?" The boys looked at each other, then suddenly burst into laughter. One boy pointed at their cars parked outside. "Look at that Range Rover." Another pointed at his wristwatch. "Look at this watch." Another boy spread his arms proudly. "Do we look like people that made a mistake?" Everyone laughed again. One boy stood up and patted Tochoku's shoulder. "Guy, relax." Another added, "Once this ritual finishes, girls will be chasing you up and down." One boy said jokingly, "You will even start rejecting them." They handed him a drink. "To the future billionaire." Tochoku forced a smile and drank. But inside his heart, something still felt very wrong. Suddenly, a strange problem began. No matter where Tochoku searched, he could not find a violet color pant. He checked the hostel, nothing. He checked other compounds, nothing. Everywhere he looked, red, green, yellow, blue, but no violet. Panic slowly began to grow in his chest because tomorrow was the 7th day. So the question is, did Tochoku finally find a violet pant? We will find out in part 2. So if you want to see what happened next, make sure you subscribe, like this video, and comment part 2. Because in part 2, things are about to get very dangerous. Thanks for watching. I love you all.